If using multiple colors in one chalk couture design feels intimidating, let me tell you why Paste and Peel is your new best friend. Hey everybody, it's Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. Welcome to Hot Glue and Good Decisions. Over the next few weeks, we are actually walking through all of the chalk couture techniques for adding multiple color to your projects. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, we did the simple one and done, kind of a chalk couture basics and a reassurance that a single color in a chalk couture design can look absolutely stunning. But the next few weeks, I'm going to move into how you incorporate multiple colors. And I'm actually starting off with paste and peel because it can sometimes be the most intimidating. It absolutely was for me until I finally got brave enough, and now it's super easy. And I want to give you all that same confidence. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have a couple of recommendations if paste and peel is new to you. So we are starting out with a chalk couture surface, and I do recommend a chalk reusable surface for learning paste and peel or using the surface wax because that makes your surface the most forgiving. And we're going to use the board and base. So it's just this little chalkboard surface, obviously double-sided. This is reusable. Get a board eraser or a magic eraser and you can just clean the design right off. You have this little wooden base and you can put your surface in horizontally or vertically. And the fact that it's reusable then gives you all kinds of options for one surface and multiple designs. We're going to use a transfer from the Sunny Days collection called Chance of Sprinkles. Lots of options in here for fun colors. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm only going to use 2, maybe 3. When I first started doing paste and peel, the first couple of times I did it, I only ever used 2 colors. That just felt more comfortable for me, and we can absolutely do this and keep this as cute as can be. We are going to fuzz our transfer first. So we're going to take it off our back sheet. We're going to use our fuzzing cloth, and you can use a microfiber towel. You can use a terry cloth towel, anything that's not going to leave lint on your surface or on your transfer is perfect to do this. You do not have to have the chalk fuzzing cloth. I do link to it in the video description in case you want to check it out. I have a ton of these. I use them all the time. It does have a nice terry cloth side that you can use to fuzz with as well. Also dry your transfers if you are really needing to wash one and reuse it quickly. All right, we're going to, that particular fuzzing cloth really needs to be washed. There's all kinds of stuff on it. Apparently, it's getting on the back of my transfer. I also need to clean my mat here. So we're going to put this up high, as close to the top of the board as I can get it, so that we have room down here for the base and we're not cutting off some of our design. Now, I'm not worrying too much about how centered this is or isn't. It's going to be fine, but if you want to spend some time centering it, you absolutely can. And then I have a couple of different colors. We have Fangirl, which is a new color of the month. I've got Strawberry Swirl, which was an en vogue color from last year. Obviously Bright White, which looks great on these dark surfaces. I've got some Shimmer Frost and some Vanilla. I think we're going to not use the Vanilla, and I'm just going to use the white or the Shimmer Frost. We'll kind of see how that goes. So when you do a paste and peel, you work in sections, and it doesn't matter if you do left to right, doesn't matter if you do top to bottom, whatever makes the most sense to you. And I vary it depending on the design. So sometimes I do left to right, sometimes I do top to bottom. It depends on when I look at the surface or when I look at the transfer and I kind of visualize, I think this is going to be the easiest. That's what I go with. So on this one, at least for this top part, we're going to work top to bottom. And I'm going to use the shimmer frost. And I'm going to turn this around so that I can move my squeegee towards me, because all I want is shimmer frost on this awning section right here. You can also use transfer tape to mask off anything that you aren't pasting in the moment. That's a great way to ensure you don't get a color where you don't want it. I'm not going to worry about that too terribly much. But I do link to the transfer tape in the video description as well. It is designed to work on the transfers and not damage them. You can use painter's tape. I would just use it very lightly. Position it very lightly on your transfer. So we're going to take our squeegee. We're just going to cover all of our negative space. And we're going to squeegee off our excess. Put that back in the jar. And then, now I'm going to use the edge of my detail tool. Actually, I don't need to do that. I've got a little lip right here. We're going to get a hold of the transfer. And we're going to peel it up just off of that awning, just to that point. And then we're just going to let it fall. I'm not going to push it back down. We're just going to let it do what it's going to do. I'm going to take the tip of my detail tool, and you can use a multi-tool for this. You can use a squeegee for this. And I'm just going to push that transfer back down right in these two little spots. Kind of came up. And on my little ice cream cones to make sure that that is adhered to our surface. Okay. Now I am going to use the shimmer frost for this outline, but we're going to work on the ice cream cones first. So put the lid on my shimmer frost, and we're going to use this fan girl. This has not been opened yet, so I'm going to need to open this. My shimmery little purple. And I'm going to do the middle ice cream cone with that. And we're going to use my detail tool for that. And I'm going to need a paper towel. Always need paper towels. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this kind of sideways. Remember that you can move your surface to make it easy. I know that sounds simple, but I find that I forget about that sometimes. And I kind of leave it the way it is, the way I started. And it's like, okay, if I move this a little bit, turn it around, turn it in the opposite direction, it's going to make it much easier. Now, when I'm working in a space that's small, I don't necessarily worry too much about squeegeeing off the excess. I just kind of try to go light on my paste. And then we lift that up, and you've got that one little ice cream cone there. And then I'm going to use the strawberry swirl for the other two, just so we have some contrast. And I just cleaned the tip of this tool off with a paper towel, and it's going to be just fine. little one. This one. Now this particular tool does not get a whole lot of paste on it. So I do have to dip it back in my jar multiple times to make sure I have enough paste to cover that negative space. Okay, so now we've got all three of our little ice cream scoops. And then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to push this transfer back down. And again, you can use a squeegee. I could use my finger for this, but I'm invariably going to end up getting paste on my finger. I'm going to actually end up using my vanilla paste to do the ice cream cones themselves. And then there's, you can't really see it in the video, there's little teeny tiny lines there to make it look like the cones are sitting in like a little holder. So we're just going to use the vanilla for that. So part of the reason that I recommend using a chalk surface, a reusable surface for this, is that yes, it's possible that when you do this the first couple of times, you might mess it up. I messed it up the first couple of times that I did it. Those reusable surfaces make it easy to remove your design, or if it's possible, to just remove what you messed up and then start over. So it's good practice. And then you find that you've gotten comfortable with this particular technique. I promise you, it is easier than it looks, especially. You can absolutely start with a bigger design, a B-size transfer that maybe is not, does not have so many little pieces in it. But if you just do a couple of colors, that also makes it easier. So I'm going to come down here, and we're going to use the Shimmer Frost again to just finish off this little awning and topper where our ice cream cone is. And the nice thing is about this Shimmer Frost and vanilla is that, to be honest, if I end up messing up and blend those colors together, you're not going to be able to notice it all that much. If you don't have chalk reusable surfaces and don't really want to make an investment in surfaces right now, or just even in surfaces for practice, then what you can do is just get a jar of surface wax. And you can use that on pretty much anything. Don't use it on glass or plastic because it'll leave the film. But if you've got wood blocks, if you've got some cardboard, if you've got cardstock, anything like that that you just want to practice this technique on and don't want to worry about, you know, having to purchase a surface or clean something off if you mess it up or anything like that, then the surface wax gives you that flexibility. Okay, so this says summer sprinkles. So I think we're just going to keep going with the shimmer frost here. This is going to look really nice on this dark surface. And again, you don't have to get fancy. We've added a couple of colors. I will probably do maybe the basket in a different color. And I was thinking about maybe the seat and the little, not the handlebars themselves, but the little hand grip in a different color. So just pop a little bit in there. Give me an opportunity to use that fangirl and strawberry swirl one more time. I could be using a bigger squeegee for this too. Now I have to be careful. I go a little crazy sometimes and I end up getting paste on the edge of my surface. Now, I'm going to be a little brave because I'm doing quite a bit more of this in the shimmer frost. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the transfer on there for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and get all of my shimmer frost on here. And I'll show you how then I'm going to pull up the surface, or pull up the transfer to make sure I don't pull it all the way off. Now, I don't use a lot of paste anymore. When I first started, obviously I used more than I do now. That comes from practice as well. When I first started, I would cover the design so much that you couldn't even see it. And then just squeegee off all the excess to make sure that I had enough paste on there. Okay, so we're gonna push this down a little bit right there. I'm going to hold my transfer up from this end now. Try not to get paste on my fingers. The closer we get to the top, the slower I'm going so that it doesn't come all the way up. So there we go. Drop. And then we are done with our shimmer frost. And use this to go over our bicycle seat and our basket and our little hand grips there. And then I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to do fangirl here and here and strawberry swirl there. I have probably too much of a tendency to go symmetrical in my projects. I kind of have to force myself out of that. But that'll be fun. Pull that up right there. If you find that your transfer is sticking and you're having a hard time pulling it up, if you just rock it back and forth, that will help you get it up without stretching out your transfer. And we're going to come over here and we're going to do our basket. And then I'm going going to peel this up this way, just off the basket right there. And then go back over the seat a little bit. This just makes sure, oh, I probably just got a little bit of fangirl in there, but that's okay. That just makes sure that your transfer is adhered all the way down to the surface. And that way you don't get any bubbles or bleed. If the transfer is not stuck all the way down on your surface, then the paste or ink, depending on what you're working on, can run under the mesh, run outside of the negative space, and cause a little bit of a bleed. Oftentimes easy enough to fix, but preventable. You make sure that your transfer is adhered all the way down. Okay, so we're going to get my backer sheet because we're just going to drop that transfer right on that. Get it upstairs, get it washed. Rock this back and forth. It's going to come up nice and easy. And there we go. Now we have our cute little summer decor piece. We've got our paste and peel. Just enough color. I'm going to put it in our base. And then over this way so you all can see it like this. And then this can be painted. This base can be painted. So if you want to either use your chalk paste to paint it so that it matches, or just some acrylic paste, and then if you wanted to get super fancy, you could do that and then use a chalk couture design with a border or words, font to spell something on that and put that on your base. And then of course you've got your other side, so you could put a spring design on this so that you have a spring and summer piece all in one. You can put a fall design on the other side so that you have a summer and fall piece all in one. So that's it, everybody. That's paste and peel. Again, I promise easier than it looks. So let me know what you think. If you try a paste and peel project, I would love to see it. You can, I don't know if you can put pictures in the comments on YouTube, so you can give that a try. Or you can email it to me, Whitney@girlfridaycrafts.com. I will drop my email address in the video description as well. If you try it and it doesn't turn out the way you think it should and you have questions, please come back and let me know. And then I will be back in 2 weeks with another chalk couture technique video. We are going to work on my two favorite ways to add color, which is hot mess and why do I always draw a blank when we are talking about this one? Ombre, hot mess and ombre. Those are my two favorite. So haven't decided if I'm going to do those all in one or split those into 2 different videos, but those 2 are coming next. And then the final video in this series is going to be the watercolor technique. So I'm really excited about that one too. Make sure that you give me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Like I said, drop anything in the comments and be sure to subscribe so that you get notified when I post new content. Bye, everybody.